Hey guys, Andrew here, and welcome to an overview of the OCG and game exclusive cards that they've introduced into Duel Masters Plays. I've decided to split the video into two parts, since covering all the cards in one video is going to take a while. So part 1 will be all the OCG exclusive cards, and part 2 will cover all the game exclusive cards that aren't even in the OCG. So quickly going through the ranking criteria. 5-star cards are meta-defining, must have inclusions for a certain deck to function. 4-star cards will see a lot of play, but decks aren't typically reliant just on the card itself. 3-star cards will see some play, but most probably in more gimmicky decks, whereas 2-star cards will see next to no play, and 1-star cards are completely unplayable. Alright, let's get into it. Firstly, Auxilios, Spirit of the Holy Hall. Blocker. Whenever one of your other creatures in the battle zone that has blocker is destroyed, you may add the top card of your deck to your shields face down. So I'll give this a 2-star rating, putting it into the more gimmicky category. I can easily see people try build a deck around this and have fun hitting the shield limit, which is now 10. But other than that, being a 8 mana 6k that doesn't really do anything the turn he's played, is not all that good. Picari, Radiance Elemental, is a card that has greatly impacted the meta. Being a 4 mana 4k blocker that can attack, he's great at fending off early attackers. And the draw card ability is really important in Duel Masters, as you run out of cards rather quickly, and there isn't too many ways to draw if you aren't playing water. However, with Picari's addition to the game, the Light Civilization and cards like Misrius can be an alternate solution to the draw problem. Not to mention he's also an Angel Command, which makes Alcadius extremely playable now. So much so that he's being splashed into control decks regularly. 5 stars for sure. Next we have Triple Brain. Simple enough. 5 mana, draw 3 cards. 4 stars. Just by running 2 of these, you have an draw engine. It's like running illusionary Merfolk, but without having to run Cyberlords. Obviously, it's not as simple as that, since illusionary Merfolk does give you a strong 4k body, plus Pickleton is extremely good at the moment. However, Triple Brain is better in more spell-heavy decks, like say in Foul Control. Recently, I've seen this card more and more often in high ranked, kind of just being splashed around into control decks. Deep Operation. Shield trigger, draw a card for each of your opponent's creatures. 3 stars. I've tried putting this into decks instead of Energy Stream or Triple Brain, but found this was a little too situational. In theory, this should be really good against aggro since they love to flood the board, but also not too bad against control decks since they summon creatures and don't attack. However, I find in most scenarios during the mid-game where you want to play this card, your opponent only typically has 2 creatures, which makes this basically a brain serum, which in my opinion is not too good. Genius Disaster. Shield trigger. Your opponent returns one of their untapped creatures to their hand. 1 star. The fact that your opponent chooses makes this extremely unplayable, not to mention the untapped creature requirement. Pickleton? Everyone knows what he does, and of course, 5 stars. Also, spoiler alert, Pickleton is probably the most broken card on this list. He has a great 3k stat line that acts as removal for 2k creatures, playable in aggro decks, mid-range decks, and control decks. It also curves super well of Fairy Life. What's not to like? Spiral Slider. When I initially looked at this card, I thought, hey, it's an Spirogate, but they've changed the text a little. But no, it's an actual card from the Japanese OCG. Although it is probably because Spirogate was Hall of Famed or banned in Japan. So it does make sense. So how good is Spiral Slider? Still really good in my opinion. 5 stars. the tempo advantage that you receive from bouncing a Picari or even Pickletown is massive. Spirogate, Spiral Slider, is a must-have for aggressive decks. Next is Darkness, Death Mori, Gatewatcher of Hell. When you put this creature in the battle zone, you may destroy one of your creatures. If you do, your opponent chooses one of their creatures and destroys it. Basically a conditional Rothus the Traveler. Speaking of Rothus, I wonder why he isn't in the game. He was quite popular back in the day. Anyway, 3 stars. The fact that he's a cheap demon command makes him playable in Bellum decks, which I must say have become significantly better. Primal Scream reads, Shield Trigger, put the top 4 cards of your deck into your graveyard. Then you may search your graveyard for creatures and add one to your hand. So my question is, why not just play Dark Reversal? I get what they were trying to do with this, kind of making this playable even if you don't have any creatures in the graveyard, but for 2 extra mana? Really? Definitely not worth 1 star. Next we have Mirror Force Dragon. No, not that Mirror Force. We got the wrong game. But he grants all your non-dragons power attacker 4k. Quite an odd effect, and not really sure how to evaluate this. Maybe what they were trying to go for was to allow your other creatures to get over blocker thresholds to break shields. But how often is that going to happen? Probably not that often. However, just because he has some synergy with Kokolupia and Velrika Dragon, I'm willing to give him at least a 2-star rating. Drill Trap is a more expensive Tornado Flame that lets you kill off creatures less than 6k this time. What's with fire destruction spells always having a limit on attack power? Anyways, 2 stars. There isn't too many additional creatures that this can kill, but Tornado Flame can't. And also the 6k threshold does not do this card any favors, as most boss monsters such as Bomedius, Twin Cannon, or your evolution creatures are at least 7k power. If you were thinking of running this card, run Terrapid instead. Finally, for nature, we've got the one and only Titan Giant, a big 5 stars. He is currently everywhere on the ladder. Being at 7k attack, he's a boss monster that needs to be dealt with, and not all that easily. Not to mention that his effect is better than just drawing 2 cards. He also grants you 2 additional mana, so when you play him on turn 7, you're not really playing with 7 mana, but 9 mana, which helps greatly as you can easily combo out another Alcoholcus or Bronzum Tribe. And that's it, all the OCG exclusive cards that are in the game at the moment. Quite a few game changes that definitely shake up the meta. But let me know your thoughts on these additions. Do you think they are impactful? And for all you OCG players out there, how often were these cards played back in the OCG? Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is Andrew, and you're watching The Gauntlet.